Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to Alien Protocols. This is an old pic of me and my ma. That's a cute pic. Very meaningful. So, anyway, I wanted to chat today about UFOs and ESP. And there is empirical, conclusive research that proves, beyond any reasonable doubt, that both are for most people, a startling reality. And the implications are big, but certainly handleable. Okay? There's a big fear around both of these. And, humanity with fear, oftentimes we impose conjectures and, react with fear. And, when big changes have always seemed to bring about improvement for society. Fire, wheel, all these things can be used for good or bad. All forms of energy we've created, nuclear, etc. So, anyway, I was really thinking a lot about the advanced visitation reality and realized that almost for certain, the very first nation wise enough to establish communications with an advanced race, that very first nation to do that and disclose will lead all of humanity through arguably its most pivotal point. And that's a really serious position to be in. So I think, I pray that the first nation to establish that contact is an altruistic nation and not like a dictatorship, which would suck. Right now, activity is off the charts. There's no debate, and when they look back, 10 years from now, they will see, hopefully, it will be revealed how much activity has been literally increasing, and then at a frenzy the past 20 years, 25 years. And if you're wise, or you don't have to be wise, you can just do basic math, there's been an incredible amount of sightings around naval exercises, submarines, aircraft carriers, nuclear missile sites. What do these things have in common? Nuclear. There's been a tremendous amount, and it's almost completely unknown, of the submarine UFO encounters. And a lot of these are based upon the energy signature, I believe, of nuclear reactors and so forth. So there's a famous picture from, I think it's the 50s, from these Coast Guard officers of these 3 giant UFOs going over, but it's like white balls of light, big ones, going over a nuclear site. A nuclear power station, not even a missile silo. So it's definitely ramping up, and especially in places where it's either nuclear, it seems, or places where there's dense life, cool biospheres, biointeraction amongst all the living participants. Like, of course, South America. There's a tremendous amount of stuff about South America having been a hotspot for, 25, 30 years and much longer. In fact, much, much longer, apparently. So, when you're dealing with an advanced civilization, you're also going to be dealing with things that are so bizarre that you might not be able to completely understand at first or believe your eyes. Advanced races, once we begin that communication, will not just usher in new science. Humanity will be immersed in a whole new reality. A beautiful reality that's just reflective of God's dynamism. But it's going to be very, very different. We will look back to us now kind of like we were in the Stone Age. Can you even imagine what that's like? Or will be like? And if we embrace this change with love and a nation that's leading the conversation rationally, based on the advanced civilization's interactions with us in the past, we can draw some pretty powerful conclusions. Some people say this should be done at the United Nations, which it ultimately will be at some point. But the nation that establishes communication, that will be the nation that leads humanity at the most pivotal point, almost. Arguably, one of the most pivotal points. So, how does this stuff connect to, ESP? How does ET and UFOs? Well, the big question is ESP a communication form? There's a lot of cases that indicate that's true, but there's also an unusual amount of aerospace pioneers that make a connection. Legendary Ben Rich has that great response when asked about UFOs, and he said, well, let me ask you a question. What do you know about ESP? Throughout history, phenomena has always represented new emerging science. We only installed electricity 100 years ago. Look how much our society has changed. It's almost unrecognizable. And you don't even think about all the ways it's been improved since electricity. 100 years. So you never know. ESP might represent the phenomena behind a new field that we're immersed in, like the electromagnetic field that we didn't know about until 200 years ago. There's a bunch of weird phenomena that people thought were spiritual and all sorts of different things, and a guy named Volta and quite a few others, but united all the weird phenomena and gave it a rational science explanation. And let us know we were immersed in the electromagnetic field. Perhaps, if there is this field and people who utilize ESP, which has been proven conclusively if you just do the basic research, even just the stuff from the government, what is that connection between the two? They could all represent a real field, perhaps. There may be some other cause, but it's one of many rational science explanations. And that field has certain qualities we've kind of conjectured about. But what else do you think ET and ESP might have in common? Is it just that ESP represents this science like we just discovered electricity and they're 100 years later? Or 200? 500? 1,000? A million? I don't know. I just think it behooves us to approach this subject with love and curiosity and hope. And I think the more passive we are to an advanced civilization, and the more we express universal forms of compassion and curiosity and care to communicate for more altruistic reasons. I think if they wanted war, and if they are here, if all the evidence is correct, which it sure seems it is, they haven't destroyed us, which they probably could. Anyway, I love you guys. Much love. What do you think?